Muy buenos días a todas, a todos, todes. Estamos muy felices de continuar estas conferencias. Voy a dar una muy breve presentación a nuestra ponente el día de hoy. Y bueno, nada más avisar que hubo este cambio en el programa y para esta conferencia que teníamos programada para el viernes a las 4, bueno, pues ahora nada más se cambian de hoy al viernes. Pero bueno, pues muy felices de recibir hoy a la doctora Daniela Tafani. Daniela Tafani de la Universidad de Pisa. Ella nos va a dictar la conferencia Private Governments and Artificial Intelligence. Me voy a permitir dar una muy breve presentación de la doctora Tafani para que podamos irnos de lleno al contenido de su presentación. Daniela Tafani es profesora adjunta de Filosofía Política en la Universidad de Pisa. Es miembro de la Junta Directiva de la Asociación Italiana para la Promoción de la Ciencia Abierta. Es vicepresidenta de la Sociedad Italiana de Estudios Kantianos y también es integrante del Consejo Editorial de la revista Boletino Telemático de Filosofía Política y del Comité Científico de la revista, disculpen mi alemán, no es nada bueno, pero también de investigación filosófica. Ha trabajado en la filosofía moral kantiana y la filosofía del derecho en el idealismo alemán, la relación ética y derecho en el siglo XX y los paternalismos libertarios contemporáneos. Sus actuales intereses de investigación incluyen la filosofía moral de Kant y la ética y la política de la inteligencia artificial. Entre sus publicaciones recientes, disponibles en Zenodo, tienen política los sistemas de inteligencia artificial, optimización predictiva como alejamiento del Estado del Derecho, el liberalismo y la democracia, el paciente imaginario, datos sanitarios fantásticos y dónde encontrarlos. Welcome so much, Daniela. We are so happy to have you with us today. And well, we will have this interesting topic with you. We hope to have like 5 to 10 minutes after your conference for everyone to be able to make questions. Welcome so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm honored to be with you. I'm delighted to have this opportunity to have a debate about so-called AI. Thank you also to Professor Vincenzo Mele, who has put us in contact and invited me. I'm very happy to be here. Private government and AI, just a very small introduction to AI. Normally, we hear that it's difficult to define AI. Well, in my opinion, it's not difficult. It's very, very simple. It's simply software running on computers. There is no magician, no magic, no intelligence, no strange entity. It's software, usually proprietary software running on computers. The term artificial intelligence is a marketing term. It was born as a marketing term. It was invented, you probably already know, in the summer of 1955 to obtain funding for a research project, which should be called then cybernetic, but they didn't want to invite Norbert Wiener, so they call it AI just to change the term and not be obliged to invite the father of cybernetics. And they were saying we will be able to carry out with 10 people over 2 months a simulation of intelligence by a machine. Simulation, we are still here, imitation, simulation. AI also stands for a family of scams. I'll say just something, but it's not our topic today. And AI is also, and this is my point of view, a political project, a social, cultural, political project. Marketing and scams serve the political agenda of the US military-industrial complex, which involves presenting surveillance software as AI for more than one purpose, for the purpose of control and for the purpose of obtaining a further shift of wealth from the bottom to the top. So for the purpose of bringing power away from the people and bringing power to a centralized point. When AI causes harm is normally not a technology out of control, is sometimes software that does exactly what is programmed for. So, for example, punishing the poor and automating the status quo. And is technology, sometimes is technology that does not work because it cannot work. We do not have any emotion recognition system. It's a pseudoscience. So of course, this kind of system do not work, but they all punish the poor, the vulnerable. They all, as they are normally probabilistic software, their approach is statistics, so they are used to punish people who are on the margin of statistical normality. Universities are sometimes complicit when they act as edtech brokers, promoting de-skilling products that do not work and trap students and researchers in proprietary infrastructures, and are complicit when they act as corporate megaphones, propagating narratives that protect a surveillance business model. These narratives are not our topic, but they include the use of ethics as a fig leaf or a decoy, anthropomorphization of machines and dehumanization of people, the idea that there is a legal vacuum. There is no legal vacuum. They are infringing rights which are already legally protected. So here we are. This is the situation today, in my opinion, from a political point of view. Sorry, I'm trying to, okay. Maybe you have heard about the Tinkerbell effect. Tinkerbell in Peter Pan says, I exist only if people believe in me. So if AI has been compared to Tinkerbell, it only works if people believe in it. If we stop clapping loud and believing in the magic, we will see what's behind all this magical narrative. So if we try to shake off the magic dust from Tinkerbell, what we find is the military-industrial complex, the platform we keep our student in, Microsoft, Google, we use Palantir from something else, are companies heavily involved in genocide, for example, in Gazan genocide. Let's just have a look to the two mottos of Silicon Valley: fake it until you make it, and move fast and break things. The first motto is blessings comes, fake it until you make it. So it's blesses frauds. And the second one says, I'm putting profit before public safety. So move fast and break things. With these two mottos, it's easy to predict what's going to happen. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman said AI is going to cure cancer. So this is fake it. What we have is chatbot talking porn. This is what we have. So there is a little distance from the magical narrative and the reality. What we all know today is that this is a financial bubble. With companies losing money, with the number of users growing. So this is not a business model. It's a Ponzi scheme. This is something everybody knows today. And we also know today that the bubble is not bursting because it's receiving a huge amount of money from the Department of War of the United States. That's the other point. We have today the ladder. There is normally a ladder of oppressive technologies and a usual adoption curve of oppressive technologies, which tend to climb the ladder of privilege. The economy of genocide has introduced a new lowest rung to the ladder. So we have today systems targeting Palestinian people, and then we, after a while, we see the advertisement of the same kind of system, and this is really new and scaring. In the advertisement, they are killing a civil. So they are advertising systems that had been tested in Gaza, and then it climbs the ladder of privilege as it usually happens. If 20 years ago you were eating a sandwich in front of a camera, that would mean that you were in prison. Now you can be anywhere. So that is how it works. We normally talk about dual use, but that's not the point anymore. We have total integration of military apparatus and state surveillance system and big tech surveillance systems. So they are all one and the same thing. And also the axiology and the logic behind these systems is showing a total integration of the military into the civil point of view. Let's think, just to make an example, about predictive policing. The idea of spying on everybody to predict if someone is going to commit a crime, it's not compatible with the state of right. Because normally you have to go to a judge, ask for permission, have good reasons to ask for permission, and the permission will say, yes, you can spy on this person for a limited time for these reasons. When are you spying everybody to see what they're going to do in war? So predictive policing brings us all in the logic of war. So citizens are treated as enemies. And their individual right to privacy is written in law, but it's not respected. It's infringed by predictive policing. Just 1 or 2 days ago, in London, the minister said, we are going to predict if children will become criminals, and we will act according to this prediction. This is a mix of phrenology, astrology, and the old dear punish the poor. This is an evergreen, punish the poor. Because of course, a statistical system is going to predict that the poor will be the criminal. This is just obvious. Let's say just 2 words about surveillance, because normally we don't think about what exactly this is. Here you can find a database, and you see that we are labeled just in this one single database in 650,000 ways, from heavy purchaser of pregnancy test to depression prone to sad young girl, sad old man, or person who looks online for yellow trousers and then does not buy them because they're too expensive, and so on. So thousands and thousands of labels. Microsoft launched Recall in Windows 11, a privacy nightmare, because it would take a screenshot of your monitor every 5 seconds. So you could be writing to your grandmother, entering in your bank account, or whatever. It would make a screenshot every 5 seconds. And then scan the screenshot, and they say this is to help you if you don't find something anymore. Of course, there is something very suspect here. It's not possible anymore to switch off Alexa. Amazon Alexa is recording what you're saying in your house the whole time, and it's not possible to switch it off. In WhatsApp, if you use WhatsApp, Meta AI has appeared, even if you didn't want it, and it's put down your throat, you cannot disinstall it. And then after a few weeks, they wrote, well, we will improve our recommendation based on Meta AI. So we are spying you, that's the point, of course. We are spying on you and using data and metadata about your conversations. At last, if you think, well, but there is something which is really secret about me because I never told anybody, so they cannot know, there is always a new frontier. So are you not going to tell your most intimate secrets to Jesus? And here we go with the app Talk with Jesus. So if there was just one secret left, you are going to confess it to the app Talk to Jesus. And what do they do with all this surveillance? Let's make just 3 or 4 examples. Delta Airlines have already moved toward eliminating set prices. So they're going to make you pay the most high price possible. The logic is always the same. They are extracting all they can extract from you. They talk about optimization. So they optimize the extraction. They try to discover how much you are willing or able to pay, and they want all the money you can pay. So if you are trying to buy a plane ticket to go to a funeral, the price gets higher because you cannot change the date. It's not like holiday. You have to go that day to the funeral. If you have a car accident, they are going to offer you a compensation which is not calculated on the damage or on the cost for repair, but on how much is it probable that you will have to accept because, for example, you cannot wait. You're too poor to wait or too poor to find a personal lawyer. Even when you buy online eggs or milk or butter, the price will be determined basing on your data. So for example, if you just receive the salary, the price will be higher. They discovered this a few weeks ago. If you're a nurse in the United States and you look for a job on the app organizing nurses, the salary will be offered to you. A hourly wage will be, again, calculated on how desperate you are. Because if your credit card is in red, then you'll have to accept any kind of salary. So this is what they do when they spy on you. So normally they say, well, if you have no secret, if you're not a bad guy, you have nothing to hide. Well, that's a stupid thing. And here we go with CEOs. This is a picture taken from the presidential inauguration of Donald Trump. And as you know, this is a place where proximity to the president is symbol, sign, and measure of power. They were in front, even in front of the presidential staff and cabinet. And The Guardian wrote, this is the oligarchy. So how have we arrived here? In 1890, John Sherman, presenting antitrust law, said, we as United States people did not want a king as a political power. In the same way, we should not endure a king over production, transportation, and sale of things of life. And he said, corporations are creatures of law, are artificial person. Here we have artificial person without fear of death. So if we write the law which will make them become too big, then we will have a king, because economic power is political power. So they knew it in 1890. And in 1913, speaking on the same Sherman Antitrust Act, Louis Brandeis said the choice between writing the law in order not to have monopolies or just say, well, we'll have monopolies and try to make them good guys, is the political choice of a form of government. It's not an economical choice. It's not merely an economical choice. And to those saying, just as they say today, what, are you going to interfere with nature, with companies growing? Well, he said, if you like metaphors from biology, the right one is not the one between nature and artifice, because of course companies are created by the law. You do not find companies in nature. In nature, you do not even have capital. You do not have earth as capital. You have the world that you live in. So the right metaphor is the one between health and disease. What do you have in nature? What's in nature always growing and growing and growing, like companies which become monopolies? That's cancer. That's metastasis. That's the right metaphor, he said. So he said the concentration of economic power is not compatible with democracy. We can have democracy and we can have multimillionaires. We cannot have both. We should choose. We are obliged to choose. If we write laws which will allow companies to grow and become monopolies, we will have feudal relations. So they already knew. And now, today, with the second enclosure after that of land, this is a beautiful book, with intellectual property, which is a very strange and absurd thing, we have written a legal mechanism to codify human knowledge as intellectual property, thus granting a few companies a legal privilege of a monopoly. And here is where we are. My colleague, Maria Chiara Pivatolo, has written a beautiful paper about this. You find it here. Where are we today? We think we are in a capitalistic system, but we buy things and then we do not own them. See, this is not really mine. I have a smartphone, but this is not mine. See, the plastic and the glass are mine, but I'm not able to control when it's recording what I say, and then an advertisement comes to me if I just said something. We have a revival of feudal relation because we buy object, but as they are smart, that is when they incorporate a computer connected to internet, we should not use the expression digitalization, which does not say much. We should say, I agree with my colleague Juan Carlos de Martin, we should say computerization of the word. So we buy object which have a computer inside, and the computer is connected to internet, and it's sending my data and metadata. And that's not all. I purchase the physical shell, but I do not control the software that makes the object work. So what happens? So for example, it might happen that I buy a printer, and then I am obliged to buy a special kind of cartridge because the company still owns my printer, because the printer is not going to work with another one. See, it's absurd, as if I buy a pair of shoes and the company would say, well, we are going to decide which kind of socks you are obliged to buy. This, of course, makes no sense, but it's a kind of, you do not buy the object, you buy a relationship of servitude. So it's feudal. We are in a feudal kind of relation. They can block a medical device after a certain period if you do not renew the software license. They can remotely shut down a car. They can decide that the owner of a garage opener is suddenly considered an unauthorized user of the car, of the garage car door opener, unless they download an app. And maybe this app, it already happens, will allow them to open the garage door only after watching an advertisement. See, all this is not a technological issue, it's a political issue. From a technical point of view, of course, interoperability is possible. And objects that today are designed to monitor us could be designed to be useful. The same car that is designed today to detect every lane deviation and transmit data about my driving habits to insurance companies could just send it to me. The geolocation of my car could simply serve to remind me where I parked it. I never know. And could not being sent to the police if I parked the car near the place, the square where an anti-government protest took place. Today, they force farmers who have bought a tractor to go only to an authorized repair shop. Before, they could do it by themselves. Today, they cannot because it's proprietary software. So you buy something and it's not yours. That's the point. Just to say something about private government, we know that companies are private governments. In a company, we do not have a democratic government. In a company can dispose of workers to the point of prescribing and controlling movements. A company does not inform workers of what decisions are taken, why, with which outcome. So the private governance of a company embodies the former regimes of despotism. But normally we had companies inside a state with of fundamental rights. The CEOs of big tech companies we have seen 2 minutes ago are saying, we agree with Brandeis and Sherman. They say billionaire and democracies are not compatible, so we must eliminate democracy. They are saying it quite aloud, they are writing, and they are doing it. You do know it's not possible to have democracy and multimillionaires, so we have to we have to crush democracy, and we want private governments. Curtis Yarvin, for example, has written very clearly, we want private governments, corporation with absolute power. He wrote that, and they're doing it right now, that they would like to experiment this kind of private government in Gaza. So a private resort, sending away or killing, it doesn't matter, people who were already there. And this is not a surprise from a conceptual point of view, because in neoliberal system, they think that rationality should be only instrumental rationality. This is corporate rationality, considering means and ends. And this is the kind of rationality which is typical of psychopaths. So if you just consider, this is my end, how can I obtain what I want? You are not considering people as having rights, as being different from objects in the world. Curtisian rights, it's here, I quote, there should be no citizens, just residents. Maybe somebody...
Yes, somebody... JL Sánchez, ¿puedes quitar tu pantalla, por favor? Vamos a quitarla. Listo. I'm very sorry, Daniela.
No, nothing. Somebody was showing the screen,
yes,
but I'm almost ready. So I was just saying that Curtisian rights, that we should not have citizens, only residents, and residents with no rights. And let's see if I can share again very quickly. Unproductive members of society should be converted into biodiesel. But maybe people would be disgusted by having to live in a place where public transportation was fueled by the distilled remains of unproductive members. So the solution is, he writes, a kind of genocide, a different kind of genocide, an immersive virtual reality interface which allow unproductive people to experience a fulfilling life in a completely imaginary world. So here we are. I think my time is finished. This is not strange, just one more example. This is neoliberal thought in its clarity. A deportation system which is described as prime, but with human beings. So no difference between human beings and things in the world. No fundamental rights and no democracy. This is the AI project, and this is very explicit. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Daniela. I'm very sure that we have a lot of questions. And I first of all, I want to thank you also to Vincenzo for inviting you and making the connection. So I don't know, first, Vincenzo, if you have anything to say before the questions and the comments?
Well, I will have a question, but I don't want to take, since we have more than almost 200 people in line, so I have Daniela very close to me, so I can ask her, so I don't take the time. I just want to thank you. Thank you, Adriana. Thank you, Edgar. Thank you for organizing this wonderful conference. And I let the floor to the people that are already raising their hands.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Vincenzo. And Daniela, I really like your metaphor about, that you made a saying about the metaphor of Tinkerbell, because Tinkerbell also had very obscure intentions. So it's very interesting how you develop everything and provide with very strong arguments about what happened. So I have here Enrique Gutiérrez with his hand raising. So Enrique, ¿quisieras hacer alguna pregunta? ¿Algún comentario? ¿Tienes tu micrófono apagado? Vamos a en lo que Enrique puede abrir su micrófono, vamos a darle la palabra a Verónica. Verónica Mota, por favor. Y Enrique, puedes escribirme tu pregunta, yo la digo con mucho gusto. Ya estás, adelante.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. Daniela, thank you very much. Thank you, Adriana, for the opportunity for asking. Thank you. It's a pleasure to hear you and to see all of this. My question, it goes through the sense of how different is the European government working with the American government towards the artificial intelligence? Are the policies so different from Europe to America? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, the best description I know of the situation we are in right now in Europe is legal bubble. We are in a legal bubble. This term comes from my colleague Marco Giraudo, which means he also says we have competing legal futures, because we have protection of fundamental rights, for example, against surveillance, written in the code of law, but it's not respected. And the European Commission is very heavily captured. So everybody's talking about the lobbying ghost in the machine of regulation. What is happening today is let's take Italian constitutional law as an example. In our constitution is written that my correspondence is unviewable. So, of course, if I write a letter on paper and then go and send a letter, that's a correspondence, but also Gmail or any mail account is correspondence, but we have just seen what happens in WhatsApp, that's correspondence too. Why is not law being applied? Something similar was happening in the United States when the president of the Federal Trade Commission was Lina Khan, because she said, well, there is no exception in the code of law for AI companies, so you must stop infringing the law. And Elon Musk said this woman must be fired. And when Donald Trump started this mandate, she was fired. She was sent away. Because they want to say, this is magical, all the dusty laws do not apply to these magical systems, but they're just infringing rights. So what happens normally when a company infringes rights? Somebody goes to jail and the company fails. But these are so big that they are betting that they can eliminate democracies, fundamental rights, the written code of law. They are betting. It's a legal bet. Thank you. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniela. And I don't know if Verónica, ¿será que ya puedes? No. ¿Alguien nos puede ayudar habilitando el micrófono de Verónica, por favor? Well, mientras Verónica can talk, I will read you a question from Adam Ruiz. Can we say that software models and SaaS platforms, as well as AI systems, have both exposed at the same time undermine democracy, showing that human beings can have ceased to be citizens endowed with rights and decision-making capacity, and have instead become mere users or captive audiences shaped by politics and the market?
Well, we use mostly proprietary systems, so we are not users in a proper sense. We are being used because code is low, as Lessing wrote. Code is not similar to legal law. Code is similar to natural law, because if you are in a platform, the laws of that platform have been written by somebody else. If it's not free software, you cannot even see the laws being applied to you. So you are just used. But with free software, this would be very different. So it depends on what kind of software, of course. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniela. And well, I don't know if, thank you, Adam. I don't know if, Veronica, would you like to write your question? And as we have 2 minutes more, I will read a question in our YouTube transmission, if it's okay for you. So let me go through here. Okay, we have a lot of questions and comments. Everyone is congratulating you for your excellent presentation. Thank you so much, Daniela. But I have this question from Ángel Gutiérrez, who is visiting us from Universidad de Guadalajara in Mexico, and he's congratulating you, but also he's saying that everything that you said opens the discussion about the responsibility from us, from academia, to communicate about all the tools, but also I can say like the problems inherent in all of this. So I don't know if you want to say something about this academic responsibility.
Well, I would just say that we are in a situation that might look new, but it's not really new because everything was already in the neoliberal way of thinking. And this is valid also for the relationship between universities and private companies. Because in neoliberal system, you defund universities and you say you should get money from the private companies. But of course, when the public interest is not the same of the one of the private company, and you have to be financed by the private companies, you become just a corporate megaphone. So you're not a university anymore. You're just the PR office of the private company. Thank you. Thank you for the question.
You lose independence, and of course. Yeah. Thank you so much, Daniela. And some people is asking for the presentation because you gave very interesting recommendations, bibliographic recommendations. And I don't know if you would like to share your presentation. We can send it to all registered people who were listening to you.
Of course, I'll send you right now. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Daniela. Muchísimas gracias a todas las personas que nos acompañaron en esta conferencia. Disfrutamos muchísimo escuchar a la profesora Daniela Tafani. Recuerden que vamos a tener más conferencias en línea. El viernes tenemos otra mesa con profesoras y profesores de la Universidad de Pisa, que estarán también hablando de esta cuestión de la regulación de la inteligencia artificial. Pues sin más, apreciamos muchísimo y agradecemos nuevamente que hayan estado con nosotros en esta transmisión.
Gracias, buena serata.
Gracias, fue un placer tener este puente, ¿no? entre Italia y México. Estamos muy orgullosos de poder tener esta conversación y de continuarla el viernes.
Claro, y recuerden, por favor, que para todas las personas que se acaba de firmar un convenio entre la UNAM y la Universidad de Pisa, si es que estén pendientes, porque habrá muchísimas cosas que tengamos que comunicar.
Exacto. Muchas gracias, Adriana.
Gracias, muchas gracias.
Grazie a voi, buona serata. Grazie.
Hasta luego.
Daniela.